Hi, Mark Schwartz here. I ran across this paper just the other day. It's a newly released paper out of Conservation Science and Practice on examining park users' support for emerald ash borer control in urban parks. This got me thinking about how we need to step up and support federal science. So let me walk you through my arguments using the emerald ash borer as a case study. The federal government is engaged in an assault on scientists of all stripes. The Trump administration is swinging its budget axe at the ecosystems program of the USGS. There appear to be plans to shake up Forest Service research. This likely includes drastic reduction in the Forest Service research stations. The administration has also stated that it is cutting spending to Park Service and NOAA. These are core institutions that provide the scaffolding for federal science. And it's not just the federal agencies that do science, but it's also the National Institutes of Health and the National Science Foundation, where the Trump administration is taking a heavy hand and directing where the science is going to go in the future. Science is under attack. The example I'm going to use is on the emerald ash borer, which is a threat to trees and healthy forests across the country. But the emerald ash borer is by no means the only forest pest that is threatening U.S. forests. A paper came out called Important Insect and Disease Threats to the United States Tree Species, and they identified 1,378 host agent combinations that cause tree mortality. 709 of them were diseases, 601 of them were insect pests, and this included 85 highly severe non-native pests. Many parts of the country, as a consequence, are experiencing really heavy tree mortality. And this is a nonpartisan no-brainer. We all like healthy forests, and the emerald ash borer is a threat. The map that's above my head here shows the distribution of ash trees in dark green, light green, and in urban areas and planted areas in yellow. And the red dots represent emerald ash borer infestations, where the insect has established itself. And most of that is in the north and east. But if you look at that diagram very carefully, you'll also see that there are infestations in Colorado and along the west coast. This is a species that's likely to be decimating ash trees throughout the country. As a consequence of having a big impact, it makes the news. And so you see news articles come out periodically that talk about the impact of emerald ash borer in new locations. Going back to the paper, we see that people have opinions on how to control the emerald ash borer. This begs the question of how do we know what actions will be effective? Well, obviously, this information comes from research. There's been a lot of research now over the last 20 or so years on emerald ash borer, and I did a little digging into who does this research, and I found some interesting answers. So what I did was a library search to find the top papers by citation number on emerald ash borer. I looked up the top 20, and here's what I found. How many commercial operations or businesses are publishing papers on emerald ash borer? Zero. Big goose egg. There's none of the authors on any of the top 20 papers are from a private institution. Almost all the papers have some university authors on them. But then here is the big kicker. 80% of these top papers have authors from U.S. Forest Service research stations. U.S. Forest research stations are leading the charge on researching the emerald ash borer and many other issues that are really important to our forest health. And who benefits from these public expenditures in research? Well, from healthier forest systems, we all do. But actually, this forest research also helps businesses. The act of making forests healthy helps arborists, foresters, landscapers whose business it is to keep trees healthy. So these aren't just feel-good consequences for environmentalists. There's actually a business consequence. This is science in support of our economy. The U.S. Forest Service has researchers in 80 locations distributed around the country, and they work on things far, far beyond emerald ash borers. They work on drought and bark beetles, wildfire, urban trees, alongside research on the science of growing wood products. But there's so much more to our forests than wood products, and we need research on how to keep those forests healthy. So this has been my pitch to say that we need to come out in strength and in numbers in support of federal science. And the question then is, what can you do? Well, number one, find a science problem that you care about. There's lots of them. Figure out who's doing the research and how it's funded. Is it funded through NSF or NIH, or are there agencies giving grants, or are there agency scientists doing the work itself? The next step, engage your representative. You can find their contact information. The U.S. House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate both put a directory on the web. You can learn how they vote. The League of Conservation Voters has a scorecard for all of our representatives and tell us how they vote on various issues. I encourage you to engage your friends in this endeavor. Defending science is not going to be easy. It's going to take a massive social effort to convince our representatives that we want this science and we need this science. It is not fraud. It is not waste. It is a fundamental part of our government that provides benefit for all of us. So this has been In Defense of Federal Science. I'm Mark Schwartz. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for listening. If you like this, check out other videos I have on YouTube or on my website. Thanks.